Hello, it's time for Combat Patrol Carnage. So we're back with issue 39 and we're looking at painting our Wraithguard now. So I built all 5 of them now and we're going to be painting one of those guys on camera for you. Paint guide is fairly simple. It's pretty much a giant Aeldari Guardian. So yeah, 3 coats of red, picking out black details of Abaddon black, white details of Corax white, Retributor armor on the gold, screen of pink on the cloth, and then we're doing our shading as usual. So yeah, nice little paint guide, and I'll show you how to paint one of these Wraithguard that I've built up already. So before we hit the desk and shake our paints, don't forget to do all the usual. Like this video if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and of course drop me a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys, and it goes a massive way out to help this channel. Which craft world have you painted your Wraithguard in? Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you want to, there is a link which I'll update and put as a new post on my social feed for my Discord. You can even share your pictures there. Finally then, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They stock everything you need, from models to paints to gaming equipment and decorative items such as posters, art prints, coins, and the like. So check them out. There's a link for the website, or they've got a physical store to go down and check out in person. Right, shake your paints. We'll head to the table and paint a Wraithguard in the Saim Hann colour scheme. Here we are then, back with issue 39, and it's onto our paint guide. So as you can see, I've already painted up 4 of our Wraithguard. You can see the colour scheme in action here. It looks a little over dark. I think the shade kind of overspilled in areas. But trying to get all those nubs and bubs of recessed shade is not the easiest. So at a later date, I will probably go back with another layer of Mephiston red. And just to tidy up those higher areas and neaten up some of the overspill. But I'm happy with them at the moment. Very similar to how my Blood Angels are painted anyway, with a nice all over shade to dull them down. But I do a weaker shade, I do like a 50-50 mix, so it doesn't overpower the models. But today we're here to focus on this guy, and for that we need to look at our paint guide first of all, and then we'll bring in our paint desk, if I can talk, and we'll apply these the guide in action. So let's adjust the camera and we can dive right on in. So into our magazine we go, past our build guide. Boom, lands us here at how to paint Wraithguard. Follow this guide to paint your unit of Wraithguard. Read through the guide in full before you begin, then gather your models and your paints, set up your painting station in a well-lit area, and make sure you take regular breaks as you work your way through this guide, and change your water when it gets dirty. So as you've seen, we are already at the base coating stage. We've got 3 coats of Mephiston red down on our model. After that, we're using Abaddon black, so there's a lot of detail to actually pick out with Abaddon black. We've got the main gun itself. We've got the cable attached to the arm. We've got all the joints in the armor, as well as any vents, and the chest emblem there where the glyph is sitting. That needs to be black as well for the background. And don't forget to get the underside of the head. Thinking of it, really, I would have probably done like I did with my Wraith Lord and left the heads separate, but I've glued them all down, so that's my mistake. Luckily though, with applying base coats, you can be rough and you can tidy up as you go along. So next up then is, speaking of the head, we're painting the head with 3 layers of Corax white. You're going to need it over that red base coat. Our only metallic then is going to be Retributor armor for the glyph on the chest, if you can actually access it. Most of the guns are kind of blocking that area. And then there's also a couple of gemstone housings holding up the loincloth on each of our models. And then finally for the loincloth, we're giving it 2 coats of Scream of Pink over that red base coat. And then we're on to the shade stage. So very similar to all of our Aeldari Guardian models. We're shading all the recesses. So there's lots on this model. You've got all the different nubs and bubs on the armor to shade around. You've got all the different joints in the legs and armor segments as well. Then Nuln Oil is used just on the loincloth. And then finally Wraithguard Flesh Shade is used on any of the gold details. And there we have it. So we'll save naming our Wraithguard for next video as we look at playing with these guys. So I'll bring in the paint desk and we can apply this to our remaining Wraithguard. So here we are, Wraithguard on paint handle and ready to be painted. So we've got the 3 coats of Mephiston Red, but I've got a pot ready in case we need to do any tidy ups, which we probably will, as we need to be quite messy with our first colour. Abaddon Black, because this goes over the majority of the weapons, and there's quite a few joints and in-between bits that are going to be hard to reach. So for the main gun, we can use our medium layer brush, but I think for all the smaller bits, we'll have our small layer brush on standby. So medium base brush first, but have your small layer on standby just in case you want it for the thinner, smaller areas. So yeah, small amount of this on our palette. Get now a touch of water. Making sure we're not too overloaded onto our model. So just apply this over the gun. You'll probably need 2 coats over the red, as the red will show through quite a bit. Just take your time, layer up one at a time. Then if we switch to our small brush, we can do all of our smaller areas. So we got the joints between the legs here on the hips. We got the ribbing around the abdomen there. If we get any on the red areas, we can tidy those up later on. Also got the exposed joints in the legs. And of course the arm, our venting here, and if we can get it, the chest emblem, and finally the underside detail of the head. So there we go. Wraithguard has got his black down. I've only done the 1 layer on most of the smaller areas, so the vents, the chest icon, the gaps in the armor, etc. But I've done 2 coats on the black on the gun. And now ready to move to our next colour. So our next colour is Cracked White. This is going to be just for his head. So over the red, you are going to need a trio of coats. I'm going to go into my small layer brush as I want that control. Plus we've got to reach underneath and reach the edges there. So get some paint prepared. And onto our models. So paint over the entirety of the head, being careful around the black. We've completed. And make sure you get the edges where you can. There we go, there's the first layer down, leave that to dry. I'll come back and do a couple more in just a sec. So there we go, 3 coats of white down on our Wraithguard's head. So now we just got to do our only metallic, which is Retributor armor, but the areas we need to get to on this particular model at least are kind of hidden by the gun, but we'll try our best. So I just want a teeny bit of retribute armor, not a lot. Pin it down on a pallet as usual. So we got the gems holding the loincloth up. Just about reach those. And then there is the glyph on his chest, which again I can't really reach, I don't think. Just get the tip of it just there. So yeah, that's all we can really do, I'm afraid. It's just difficult areas to reach. But we'll get those gemstones at least on the loincloth. So there we go. And speaking of the loincloth, it's over to Screaming Pink now for that particular detail. So just get this on and we're ready to move to our shade stage. So again, we'll keep to our small layer brush as we do want that out of control as we're working around areas we've completed. Onto our model, you want to do 2 coats over the red just to get a solid coat. Yeah, there's 1 coat down. I'll let that dry and do a 2nd coat, and then we can move on to our wash stage. So there we go, with our tidy up done and our 2nd coat of Screaming Pink drying on the loincloth, we're ready to move over to the shade stage. So we'll kick things off with our Grax Earth Shade. This is going to be an recess shade on all of the red details. So we'll use our shade brush to get a puddle on our palette, but we're going to be doing a lot of work with this with our small layer, as we need to get into all those nooks and crannies. So make sure we've got a nice thin tip. I'm going to work this into all the recesses. And around all of our raised nubs. And into all the joints and segments on the armor. So take your time, work your way around the model, getting this into all the recesses. And with all those recesses shaded, our Wraithguard is really starting to stand out now. But 2 more shades to apply. We've got Nuln Oil first of all. This is very easy, straight to the loincloth, that's it. So give it a good shake, we'll take it straight from the pot in this instance. So load up our small layer brush and just give a nice coat all over both sides. With Nuln Oil. There we go. And finally then, Rhydgon Flesh Shade, just to shade those little gold details. So again, we can take straight from the pot. So we've got the gemstones up underneath, which will just dot with this colour. And then we got the glyph on the chest to get as well. And with that, our Wraithguard is finished and he can join the rest of his squad. So there we go, our Wraithguard unit is now complete and ready to take to the field of battle in our next video. So yeah, this paint guide is very simple. It's pretty much just a giant guardian with very few colours. So it's a nice easy guide to get you going and gets you up to a good tabletop standard just as it is. You can also apply my Iandan method to these guys. Very simple. I'll be doing a unit of these and a unit of the Wraith Blades in Iandan colours for my own personal Iandan army. Check my social media feeds for updates on that. I am still behind on keeping up regular updates on a lot of my social medias, but I am getting back to it. I need to get back in the rhythm. I think really I need to get back to doing my daily to-do lists, as those really helped me back a couple of years ago when I was doing them. Yeah, those really did help me keep a more organised hold on things. So definitely need to go back to doing that, I think. But here we are, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed this. Let me know how you're painting your Wraithguard for your Aeldari. And what's left for me to do then is say thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.